Welcome to Declutter Your Life. I'm your host, Andrew Mellen, and today we're going to talk about the 200 lies that every person tells themselves every day. I love this statistic. It just cracks me up, and it is so true. Once you start to recognize it, you will be amazed at the way you are talking to yourself and even to other people. And to be clear, probably 2/3 of those lies will never come out of your mouth. They will only be things that you are talking to yourself, right? It's the garbage that we tell ourselves that reinforces all of the stories that keep us stuck to stuff. But every once in a while, one of those 200 lies will actually come out of our mouth and be directed to somebody else. And the beautiful thing is that you don't even know that you're doing it until you bring your attention to it. You'll start to recognize that, and this is not a gotcha exercise. This is not a way to humiliate yourself or shame yourself, but you'll just start to see how and where you vary your attention and how you start to talk to other people. And it could be as innocuous as saying, "I'm so sorry to bother you," when in fact we know that if you were really sorry to bother somebody, you wouldn't be bothering them. So instead, you start to recognize that there's another way that you can get somebody's attention. And even if you have to interrupt them by saying, instead of "I'm so sorry to bother you," to say, "Hey, Bob, hey, Steve, hey, Sally, I need something, and I'll bet you had a plan for how today was going to go, and I'm about to disrupt that. So I acknowledge that you had a plan. I'm now asking you to shift gears." Instead of pretending that your actions don't have consequences, that the other person is some sort of two-dimensional cardboard cutout, we actually take all of that into consideration, and instead we acknowledge it and we stay in integrity. We're living our values instead of drifting off into this la-la land where we're unaware of the consequences and the impact of our own behavior. That's one of the beautiful things of recognizing the 200 lies as we start to draw our attention to it. So it's a wonderful exercise. It becomes something that you can do with your family, with your friends. And again, remember, this is not an invitation to shame anybody or to humiliate them when you point out their 200 lies. It's an opportunity to have a sense of humor and surprise about, like, "Oh, there it is again, there's one of my 200 lies." And you'll start to recognize that these are often, again, the ones that you tell yourself are often the very ones that are keeping you stuck to objects. They are unexamined. They are perhaps historic beliefs, or maybe even things that you don't believe, but that were handed down to you from relatives or friends or mentors or colleagues, or just something you read in a newspaper or saw online, or saw on TV. It's an opportunity for you to start to recognize, that is not true, right? It's just something that I say or that I've been parroting, but it's not even really attached to anything that matters to me. So this is an invitation, my invitation to you, to look at all of the different ways these 200 lies manifest themselves. And as a result, one of the great takeaways from this is not only will you start to recognize them, but you then will be able to dismantle them. And by extension, that stickiness, that thing that's been holding you to these objects for so long. So that's today's podcast. I am excited for you to start to recognize your 200 lies and how you can dismantle them bit by bit, day by day, until you also declutter your life, create more time, more freedom, and more money in your life by not being stuck to these objects, these inanimate objects that are not reciprocating your affection. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us. I'll look forward to being with you again real soon.